There are films that have left an indelible mark in cinema history. The Texas Chain Saw Massacre by Tobe Hooper is probably one of them. Released in 1974 in the USA, it was banned for years in many countries. This restriction, as well as the false publicity that it was supposedly based on real events, contributed to making it a real phenomenon. The appearance of the video market in the 80s allowed him to reach a larger audience. A traumatic shooting, with actors on the verge of madness, strong violence, a stunning visual style and sound work, and of course the legendary Leatherface character, have made this film an iconic figure of pop culture. Welcome to all of you in this chapter test in 4K HDR of the Texas Chain Saw Massacre proposed by Second Sight Films. We will start with the presentation of the edition, a preview of the extras, the picture and the sound analysis, and then the conclusion. The Texas Chain Saw Massacre, directed by Tobe Hooper, was released in 1974. The theatrical runtime is 43 minutes, there was a German edition of 75 minutes, and an unrated edition of 88 minutes. It was shot in 16mm and then blown up to 35mm for its theatrical release. For its 40th anniversary in 2014, it was restored in 4K. The original aspect ratio is 185:1, but on the 40th anniversary edition, it was released in 178:1. In 2022, the German publisher Turbine is the first to offer a superb 4K UHD edition with the Dolby Vision HDR version. A new Dolby Atmos mix and an Auro 13:1 mix were also produced for the occasion. The same year, Ampli will release an American edition identical to that of Turbine. To date in France, we do not have any 4K version, and the Blu-ray HD edition from 2014 is now unavailable. This new edition is from Second Sight Films, a British company that distributes DVDs, Blu-rays, and films on demand since 1984. Tobe Hooper's film will be available in HD Blu-ray, 4K UHD Blu-ray, and in a limited edition, including HD and UHD version, with 190 pages book and 6 collector's cards. All the extras are available on the 4K disc. On the UHD Blu-ray edition, there's a part of them on the disc with the film, and the rest on a second bonus disc. First of all, we find the following audio commentaries. A new one by Amanda Reyes and Bill Ackerman, another with Tobe Hooper, then one with the DOP Daniel Pearl, editor G. Larry Carroll, and sound recordist Ted Nicolaou. Another one with Tobe Hooper, Daniel Pearl, and actor Gunnar Hansen, and the last one with actors Marilyn Burns, Alan Denzinger, and Paula Partain, and art director Robert A. Burns. Next up is The Legacy of the Texas Chain Saw Massacre, a new documentary produced by Second Sight Films and directed by Philip Escott, with the host contributors including Fede Alvarez, Jamie Blanks, Marcus Nipsel, Julien Maury and Alexandre Bustillo, Mick Garris, Adam Marcus and Deborah Sullivan, and many others who talk about the impact this film has had on them and horror cinema in general. Then comes Behind the Mask. The author Alexandra Eller Nicholas invites us to discover the origins of masks in horror. The Shocking Truth, a documentary from year 2000, where the entire film crew invites you to go behind the scenes. You can also find a module with cutscenes from Shocking Truth. Then you find Flesh Wound's 7th Story of the Saw, a module containing part narrated by the DOP, another one takes us to visit the renovated Sawyer house, an interview with Edwin Neal, the hitchhiker, a module dedicated to the deceased crew members, a module about the special makeup designer of Grandpa, a module about the conventions, and finally a module about actor Gunnar Hansen. Cutting Chainsaw, where we find the editor G. Larry Carroll, who talks about his meeting with Tobe Hooper, anecdotes about the shooting, and his career. Grandpa's Tales is an interview with John Dugan, the actor who plays the role of Grandpa Sawyer. An interview rich in information about the shooting and the work with Tobe Hooper. There's an episode of the series Horror's Hallowed Grounds presented by Sean Clark. It takes us back on several sets of the film. Then you will find House Tour with Gunnar Hansen. We will visit again the renovated Sawyer house. Off the Hook is an interview with the actress Terry McMinn, who talks about her role and the scene of her encounter with Leatherface. The Business of Chainsaw, an interview with the production manager Ron Bozeman, we reckon the epic adventure of shooting the film with a mostly rookie crew on a shoestring budget in an insane summer heat. Then you will find a fascinating interview with Tobe Hooper, who talks about many aspects of the film, from its creation to its reception. And you also have an interview from the author Kimenko. We will find then deleted scene, outtakes and blooper reel. In this section you will find some trailers, TV spots and radio spots. And finally, Stills Gallery. For this part, I will compare the new edition from Second Sight with the edition from Turbine in HDR, and the 40th anniversary version in SDR. The idea is obviously not to point out the defects of the one or the other. The work done by Turbine is absolutely remarkable. The 2022 edition is sumptuous in every way. And this film still have some out-of-focus shots, heavy grain, overexposed and underexposed scene because that's the DNA of Texas Chain Saw Massacre. We will see that Second Sight had a slightly different approach for the color grading. Because yes, there are some differences between these two editions. The first thing that strikes is that Turbine's versions has much more highlights. This has the advantage of offering a larger dynamic range, with sometimes the feeling to get more volume, depending on the case, but on the other end, the problem is that very often we have images with totally burnt whites. If we look at the clouds here, we see that we have no matter, but a mass of white. With Turbine Edition, we have an average of 400 nits on these shots and something like 250 for Second Sight film. Here, the sun lacks a bit of matter in the version of Second Sight. Again, the difference in level is quite large between the two editions. According to me, Second Sight has attenuated the whites in order to offer a more homogeneous and less burnt image. The eye is less distracted by too bright areas due to overexposition. So yes, the dynamic range is lower, it's undeniable, but it gives a more realistic look from my point of view. And above all, it calms down many defects. Some shots have benefited of new stabilization. The alterations are much more noticeable on the Turbine version. Here and there, some small defects have been corrected. Look here how the sky was damaged. It's much more attenuated now. Regarding the colors, they are gorgeous. On some shots, the difference is striking. By the way, this shot, I will never get over it. We are in 74, we pass under the swig, it's of an incredible fluidity, the blue of the sky, the red of the shots, the greenery, everything is perfect. It's a firework of colors. Look at all the details that are recovered on the generator. The difference between HDR and SDR is really noticeable on this flashy red. The Blu-ray HD version is undoubtedly a Rec 79 Dolby trim from the HDR version. We find a maximum of detail thanks to the Dolby tone mapping, even if inevitably we lose some information from HDR to SDR. Take a look at the difference between the new SDR and the old one. Look at the sharpness of this 4K version. Here the difference is also obvious. Whether it's with the old 4K HDR version or even the SDR version, the edition of Second Sight films offers an image with stunning details despite the grain and dirt from 16mm. I also found that the skin tones are sublimated in this version. Look at the details, the speculars on the sweat, the green of the iris. And even in night scenes, we still have some perfect dark images with high speculars here and there. The Silver Salt restoration team really did a great job on the image. And the encoding with an average bitrate of 87 MB per second, done by Fidelity Immersion, is as usual incredible. This edition is a small miracle visually speaking. For this part, I had help, the help of a beast. Thanks to the Trinnov team, I can analyze the Atmos tracks and show you graphically what is really going on. The Trinnov Altitude 32 has a unique interface that decodes the Atmos signal and allows you to visualize the object in a 3D space, as well as the dynamics from the lowest black level to the highest red level. The sound of this movie is exhausting. Everything is done to terrify you, and it works. From what the analyzer tells us, the mix is static. That is to say that we have many objects used, but they do not move in space. They are positioned in a fixed way. If most of the sounds are concentrated in the front scene, there's a lot of presence in the back and the ceiling. The dynamics, on the other end, is not huge, as you can judge by the little change of the color of the objects. The music composed by Tobe Hooper and Wayne Bale envelopes you as soon as the horror breaks out. It's not an Atmos demo track, because this movie doesn't lend itself to it, and I think they wanted to stay true to the documentary spirit of the movie. Sometimes, like the part where you can hear footsteps above Sally's head, or the part of the chase in the forest where you can hear the chainsaw coming at you, it's really effective. During the diner scene, we are surrounded by madness, screams, and a stressful musical atmosphere. And that last shot, where the chainsaw roars from all sides, will give you goosebumps. Don't be frustrated if you don't have access to Atmos. The original mix is available in mono, and it will also put you in hell. If you follow me, you know that I don't often publish reviews, but when I do, it's usually for a good reason. As a strong supporter of the physical media and a collector, this edition is a jewel. The level of quality of the box, the book, the cards, the art direction, the quality of the new extras, and of course the work done on the restoration make this edition a unique and must-have item. Thanks for watching, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. See you soon and take care.